Hello out there, guys. Hope you're doing really well on the free range farm. It's been another crazy week. We've seen several psyops. I remember the good old days. There used to be a psyop once every 6 months, something like that. But now we've got one every day. This week we've had Elon Musk rescue people from space, even though space doesn't exist, and the astronauts are just in a swimming pool with a green screen. You couldn't make this stuff up. I mean, sometimes I'm like, it's funny, but other times I'm like, I feel quite embarrassed to be part of a species that just kind of laps all this up and believes all of this. And you've got all the people that think Trump and Musk are coming to save us and put us on the 5D timeline. Just lapping all this up is just incredible, really. And it's all scripted. It's all a play. They're just following like the next play the next script in the play. This is why it makes me laugh when people say, "Oh, the Bible's true," or some of these ancient books, or they'll quote passages from the Bible and say, "Look, it's all coming to light." Well, yeah, of course it's coming to light. They wrote the thing. They know the script, and what they've done is they've put it in a book, so you will believe that God or Jesus or prophesized it all. And so, what's that going to do? Give you more faith in all of that? Keep you in a savior program? Keep you waiting every day for Jesus to come down because they still believe that? I mean, it's just madness, really. So yeah, the reason why it's all coming to light is because they wrote it. But anyway, I digress. So today I want to speak about a bit of a different topic. Before I do, guys, don't forget to hit the like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. So this is something that's been coming up a lot in my own thoughts. And actually, I do a lot of inner work with clients, IFS work. And it's been coming up on so many sessions with clients these days that it feels right to speak about it, really. And that is of abandonment. So there's three kinds of abandonment. There's at least three. So the first one would be physical abandonment. So that's where maybe mum or dad was absent, or they left the family unit, and we know that causes huge amount of trauma, breaks up the family unit. Normally it's the dad that's absent, not always. And of course, with an absent father, normally not always for you people out there that have done the work or have haven't let it affect you to the extent that it can affect you, but the child can grow up a little bit, let's say, with a lot of issues, a lot of problems, and that can then extend into adulthood because the father is like the rock, the protector, the discipline. And I don't mean like necessarily discipline like hitting, I just mean like he sets the bar, basically. And it's not to say that the mother isn't also a rock and she doesn't have an important role. She has a different role to play, obviously, more of a nurturing role. So both are equally important, but there is definitely a trend with absent fathers. So we have that kind of physical abandonment. Then we have like emotional abandonment, which can oftentimes be just as bad as physical abandonment. And this is where like maybe mum and dad were together, but emotionally they weren't available, or one of them wasn't available. So maybe you weren't given enough hugs, maybe you weren't nurtured enough, maybe just your needs weren't met in general. And so what's happening really is that these are all coming down from the generations. It's if you were abandoned, chances are your mum was abandoned or your dad was abandoned, and their parents were abandoned, yada yada. And so these timelines repeat over and over again until someone grabs their cojones and does the work and clears these generational lines, which of course a lot of people don't want to do because it's painful. You're reopening a wound, and it can take a bit of time. But we see how these patterns play out. So how many times do you hear the example of like a woman who had an alcoholic father? She keeps drawing in these alcoholic boyfriends, right? You hear these stories over and over again. So you have to go behind the scenes and recorrect these holographic imprints that are stuck there in time and space. So you're kind of changing the hologram, so to speak. So we have the physical abandonment, we have emotional abandonment. Then we have what I would say is like how to describe it? Just like a humanity abandonment. What I mean by that is they have reset this place a number of times. They're in the process of doing it again. We know that. It's almost like a reset is also one of their most powerful weapons, along with the memory wipe, because both, if you think about it, wipe out history. They delete all the books, they delete all the text. Anyone with any kind of knowledge is deleted. And again, you look at that word deleted. You have that on a computer. So again, we're also talking like AI terminology, right? So they delete the memory, and then they delete the whole generation of people. It seems to be when they get to a certain level of knowledge or understanding that these resets take place. But if any of you guys have looked into Tartaria, and if you haven't looked into Tartaria, I recommend that you do. You may have come across something known as the orphan trains or Cabbage Patch Kids. And this is basically where a whole generation of people were basically wiped out, probably due to mud floods, because we see that in the building and in the old buildings at least, where like the mud dried and it comes up and covers like half the window, and they had to change the doorways. And you see this architecture all over the world, actually. So, of course, they needed loosh, right? They still needed loosh, but they needed a new generation of, humans they could loosh off. And so the orphan trains and the Cabbage Patch Kids were basically, they were abandoned due to this reset. They lost their mothers and fathers, and then the cult gathered them up. And there's many accounts that you can read online. It's fascinating, but it's very sad. So we have like a generation abandonment as well. And I think that we all suffer this, and any kind of abandonment wound, whether it's emotional, physical, generational, or past life, can affect you in the now. And if you think about it, if you've been abandoned in some way, that's going to affect your self-belief, your feelings of self-worth, not feeling good enough. That's going to tie into like scarcity and not wanting to shine your light on the world, holding back, not expressing yourself how you possibly could or should, and it just really stunts us as a spirit, basically. So the more you go back and you correct these timelines, then your outside world, your now changes, because everything exists at the same time. You can, like I say, you can re-nurture these children, you can reparent these parts, and you can change that holographic imprint that's stuck there in time and space. So that's 3 types of abandonments that I think that we're dealing with at different levels of our consciousness. And I think all of these abandonments really does set the tone of why so many people have this kind of little me, what can I do, just really a lack of self-esteem, because we've suffered so much abandonment on different levels. Even if you had a decent childhood, you still have to deal with like unconscious parenting and the stuff that's involved with that. And this isn't to blame our parents, because they didn't know any different. They were raised a certain way, and so again, these things are coming down the generations. But then also the one that's been coming up, and the one that I've been working a lot with on clients and even myself, is what I call cosmic abandonment. And this is basically where the soul or the spirit just doesn't just feel abandoned by other humans, but cosmically. And if you think about it, it makes sense, because like, we're stuck here. We don't know who we are. We don't know where we came from. We've had our memory wiped so many times. We've been involved with resets God knows how many times. You should stop saying God. It's such a bad habit, isn't it? But you get my point. Like, even now, with the level of information and the research, over the 10 years I've done, it's still like, I still don't really, like, I feel that I'm a spark of essence, but it's like we have this, I get asked the question so much, like, why would God allow this? Why is this allowed to go on? And those type of questions, and they're valid questions, because like I say, we don't know who we are, we don't know where we've come from. We just end up here. We just land here. And in a lot of these sessions lately, just going back to childhood memories, I just speak of my own because it's just easier to explain. That I went back to a memory where I was just in the playground at school, and for those of you who are around my age in the UK, you'll remember the hairstyle of curtains. We used to call them curtains, and I could see myself with the curtains because I used to have the curtain hairstyle. And I used to have the record bags, because hardcore was all the rage back then, and us kids, we used to buy record bags and use them for our school books and stuff like that. So I had my curtains and my record bag, but this memory I had is just me in a playground, absolutely, completely lost, looking around. I mean, school was very difficult for me. I've spoken about the difficulties. I didn't fit in, and I was trying to fit in with people that I knew weren't good for me, to try and get in with like the in crowd. I suffered bullying, and I just felt very lonely. I didn't know what I was doing there. Every day, I felt like I was a prison. It is a prison, let's face it. So anyway, I go back to this memory, and I speak to this younger version of me, and he's absolutely, he's angry for being here. He's like, why am I here? Why am I here? He's really upset. He feels lonely. He feels abandoned. He feels like no one understands him. And then he's like, why am I here at all on this planet? Like, none of this makes sense. Like, all these kids picking on each other, the fact that I have to go into all these lessons and I don't like them, none of it resonates. Like, what is this place? Wherever I landed, I don't understand. And at that point, I was very honest with him, and I said, well, look, you've been tricked here. This isn't your home. And they get it. They understand. And you get him feeling safer, and then you could change that holographic imprint of where he's kind of stuck there in time and space. But this is coming up with everyone at the moment. There's these parts of us that are just like, what the hell am I doing here? And what is this place? And the feeling of just being abandoned on a cosmic level. And so, I just wanted to bring that to your awareness, because, like I say, I get so many comments of, where is like this, there must be a God somewhere, or there must be a benevolent force somewhere, and all this kind of stuff. And I feel like the cosmic abandonment is due to the fact that this isn't home, right? I don't know about an external God. I feel, like I say, I feel like we are, I like to refer to it as essence, a fractal of essence. But for sure, this place it feels alien to us. It doesn't feel like home. It feels like we don't belong here. And that's the kind of abandonment that I'm talking about. It's the abandonment of our true home, wherever that may be, because it's not here. Everything about being here feels uncomfortable. Literally everything does. Being in a body, witnessing what we have to witness on a daily basis, all the rules, regulations, the coercion. We talk about it all the time. And there seems to be this longing which is really coming to the forefront right now, of people's subconscious, of, just healing that feeling of cosmic abandonment. And I wish I knew like where our true home was. Because of the memory wipe, we don't have a recollection of it. Now, do I think that we can find out? I think we can, but maybe we don't have a set home. Maybe we are explorers of I don't even know if to use the word universe now, but let's say the cosmos or the multiverse. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Creation. Maybe we're definitely creative beings, so I believe that we can create realms and worlds. And maybe we're just travelers. Because I know from my own essence, and most people, they love to travel. Most people love going on vacation or holiday, and all through my younger years I just went to as many places as I could, because I wanted to explore. So I think maybe we don't have a set home, but maybe we are boundless is the word that's coming to me. Maybe we are boundless in our exploration, and maybe it's that I just feel I'm pulling this out the ether now, but maybe it's that boundlessness that we miss, that not having to conform to anything, to just being completely free spirits. Maybe that's what we're missing. Maybe that's what the cosmic abandonment is. It's not a set place, planet, or realm, or any of these things. Maybe it's the abandonment of our natural essence, which is to be completely free, liberated, creative, without all the balls and chains that we have to deal with on this side and in the astral realm. And the more I'm speaking here, the more that feels true, the more that resonates with me, that we don't necessarily we haven't necessarily populated a certain place. Maybe we just go from place to place, and because we're not boundless, because we're in this soul trick, we're in either the prison or the prison yard, or we have been, we miss that liberation and that freedom. And I remember when I used to get on planes to go to a new country that I'd never been before, I used to feel the buzz, just being at an airport. I used to feel the buzz, knowing that I was just going to explore somewhere that I haven't explored before. I don't get that same buzz these days, because airports are quite stressful, and all the things that you have to go to, they pat you up and down, and you walk through those weird things, and God knows what that does to your frequency, and all the stuff that we put up with now. Travel has become a big chore. But I remember those days, and that felt very aligned with what I feel like our true spirits and our true nature is, just boundless explorers of the cosmos. And I feel like that's what feels abandoned. I don't feel like I'm abandoned by a god, so to speak. I feel like I'm abandoned from myself, and maybe that's the answer that we're all looking for. I'm not saying that is or it isn't the truth. This is just what's coming to me. And maybe because it's coming up, maybe it's because it's been coming up with a lot of people that I'm working with, maybe that's the part that we are healing now, to change that hologram, to change that holographic imprint. And when I think about what we could be with our abilities to create, and that boundless exploration, that makes me feel good. That makes me feel like I'm already at home, without, like I say, all the balls and chains tied down that we have here. So what do you think, guys? What do you think about cosmic abandonment? Do you think it's like a particular god? Do you think a particular god has abandoned us? Do you think it's just the feeling of abandonment of our true nature and what we have potential to create and to explore? I'd be interested to know in the comments below what you think. But yeah, I think I've said enough. I've just rambled on there. So if you like the video, don't forget to hit the like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you very soon.